wealthy. We spoke about it last time. Wealthier than Saudi Arabia. Spoke about it months ago. Wealthier than Norway. And we're doing nothing with it. Now, however, don't let the Canadian government distract you from the truth, because they just came out with the September job numbers, right? And they are, to much fanfare, yelling to the top of their lungs how good they are. Canada added 60,400 new jobs in September. Take a second. Round of applause. Except for when you really start digging into it. So the first thing I'll say is this, right?
Let me guess.
Oh, go.
Mostly government jobs.
How did you know? How did you know?
Because it's Canada.
So the first thing that I looked into was, okay, so we added 60,400 new jobs. That's good. Like, I'm happy for that. I want Canada to succeed, okay? But then I looked at it and I realized that in July and in August, we had lost 100,000 jobs. So, so for a quarter, we're actually still down 40,000 jobs. But maybe we're on the up and up. So let's be positive. We're on the up and up. Okay, good. Let's forget the fact that July and August, we lost 100,000 jobs. Let's look at the jobs. Public sector jobs accounted for about 51% of those 60,000.
Not surprising.
That's 31,000 jobs. While private sector jobs were only 36%, or 22,000. The rest, the balance, being self-employment. The thing, though, is that unemployment unemployment rate held steady at 7.1%, which is a multi-year high right now. We are at a peak of unemployment. So there's a few points. Like, let's analyze this, right? Public sector jobs are not productive jobs for the economy. It's not. It's like the housing market. We invest all our money in the housing market. It's not a productive sector in the fucking economy, right? It's nice. It creates like booms of GDP, which government loves to say, oh, we're doing good. It's not productive. It doesn't generate fuck all. And this is something that I found, thanks to Grok, and this blew my mind. It takes on average 1.5 to 4.5 private sector workers in order to sustain the pay of one government worker. One. So right now, to give you an idea, we've added 31,000 government jobs and only 22,000 private sector jobs. That means that the ratio is so fucking skewed.
And let's clarify to our viewers, because I think we come from a little bit of a financial background. We research this stuff constantly. Mm-hmm. Why is it bad for the government to grow more than the private sector?
Oh my God. Well, okay. There's so many reasons.
Well, the number one reason being government only derives revenue from taxation. They cannot function without forcing you to pay them.
In Canada, right? Because there are governments in the world that operate as a business. They actually do exploit their resources in other sectors to generate wealth for their citizens, as they should. You know, governments truly have a fiduciary duty. Citizens should be shareholders and governments should be the executives or the officers, right? They have a fiduciary duties to the shareholders. In Canada, ain't the case. Imagine if you were a shareholder of a company, but every fucking quarter or every year, every fiscal year, the company sent you a bill saying, thanks for being a shareholder, now pay us. That's what it is. Yeah. That's basically what the fuck it is, right?
What it is.
So my favorite part, though, of all of that, if you dig even deeper, out of those 60,400 new jobs, 43,000, so 71% of those jobs were in only one province.
Alberta.
Alberta, baby.
Danielle Smith, baby.
So basically, Alberta added jobs to Canada. The rest of Canada did fuck all. And, you know, going back, and your point you're making, right? Oh, man, I'm going to show you this. It's the trend, okay? The trend between public sector and private sector jobs in Canada. It's not sustainable, right? When we consider that 25%, actually, I'm not even going to say this right now. Look at that. Okay, let's zoom the fuck into this bad boy.
Okay,
this is the trend. The gap between public, private, and self-employment in Canada. Right now, over 25% of jobs in Canada. Oh no, that's not 25% of jobs. That's the gap. Yeah, it's the gap. The gap between the two is increasing. But it just goes to show there's more public sector jobs being added to the economy than private sector jobs or self-employment jobs, which is bad because self-employment, by the way, is the cornerstone of society, dude. It's the small to medium enterprise, right? It's what we need. It's the entrepreneur. It's your family, for example. That's exactly it. That's what drives fucking value.
You know, you want to look at this graph and tell me when it all started falling apart? Because up until about 2020, they were all in line.
Yeah.
And since 2020, you see a complete breakdown. And so what does that tell you? It tells you that what was happening during that era should not have happened. The lockdowns, the mandates, the excessive government control should not have happened. And this is the adverse effect, that we no longer have entrepreneurship growing in Canada.
Yep.
And that is a very big red flag for our economy.
It's a huge red flag
for our workers, for the people looking for jobs, for private sector jobs. And the government is essentially, what that chart clearly shows, is that they're trying to compensate this by increasing the size of the public sector to temporarily boost up the GDP numbers to show we are making economic growth. But really what is going to pay for that is deficit spending and money printing. And so it's really just going to cause more and more inflation. We're going to have a bigger and bigger public sector. Our dollar is going to lose value, and the debt bubble will pop. Is that not what we are seeing today? Is that not everything we have covered in this show?
Absolutely. It is so insidious. And the one thing that, people also don't seem to realize, oh my God, it hurts. It fucking sickens me to see this. I'll hear sometimes people saying that, at least it means that the services will improve.
Dude, can I just share an anecdote about the services? Okay. I'm not going to share too much detail, but let's just say someone very close to me had to go to the hospital recently in Quebec. Okay. And we were driving around from hospital to hospital across Montreal to find a place where there was a wait time less than 6 hours.
Jeez.
Okay, we finally found a place where we thought, okay, this might be the place where we should potentially settle. No, Queen Mary.
Okay.
Queen Mary.
Because the Jewish hospital is actually pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like the only one that's like, okay. Because it's privately funded. Well, it's public, but it receives a lot of
Public
funds from
private funds, yeah.
From, the community.
So we sat down in Queen Mary Hospital. It took us about 3 hours to 3.5 hours just to get called into the room. We're like surprised, like, oh my God, only 3.5 hours. And then once we got in the room, we had to wait another 2 hours for the doctor to show up. Once we're already in the room where the person I was with had to be examined.
Wow.
You would think that once they call you in that room, you're going to see a doctor in, like, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes. 2.5 hours.
Bro.
Okay. And so we're talking about the increasing public sector. It's not improving.
No, it won't. Well, I mean, look, you're an entrepreneur. You've run a business, right? Or you run a business. And I can tell you this from having run businesses as well. I've seen this firsthand, right? There's at the start, when you're really small, every new employee actually adds an exponentially greater amount of productivity, right? One employee doesn't double your output. It actually 2.5x your output, triples your output, quadruples your output, right? There is this exponential growth with every new employee. Eventually, you reach a plateau, which is pretty linear. Every new employee is a linear growth of productivity. But when an organization grows too big, and this is universal in governments and huge corporate, companies and whatnot, eventually every new hire actually is a negative productive output or production output, because it requires more management. It requires more oversight. It also dilutes. Everyone starts thinking it's the bystander effect. Well, I'm not going to do that work because fucking Joe's going to do it. Yeah, Joe's going to do the work, or Stacy's going to do the work, right? So there's a loss of accountability. And this is no greater exemplified than the Canadian government.
Last week we covered about all the social services, all the postal workers on strike.
Nothing's working.
Nothing's working. So but the bureaucracy is growing. So
yeah, exactly.
It's not becoming more efficient, that's for sure.